fractions. So 1/2 is the same as 2/4. When simplifying fractions, we need to remember whatever we do to the top, we're going to do to the bottom. So we're looking for common factors. So I know that the common factor between both of these numbers is 2. So I'm going to divide the top one by 2 and divide the bottom one by 2. Same here again, looking for the common factor. And I know that both of them are 3. So we divide the top one by 3 and the bottom one by 3. Converting improper fractions into mixed fractions. First we're going to think about how many times does 4 go into 17. I know that 4 goes into 16 4 times with 1 left over. And this means 4 and 1/4.
Welcome back to Fractions for Freshers, FFF, where this week we will be covering multiplication and division of fractions.
This is our first example. We're going to be looking at what is 1/2 times by 1/4. First of all, we're going to start by timesing both of the numerators together. So 1 times 1 is 1. Secondly, we're going to times both of the denominators together. So 2 times 4 equals 8. So 1/2 times by 1/4 is an 1/8. Don't be surprised that even though we're timesing, the answer is actually smaller than our original numbers. Always think about times meaning of. So think about this question as, what is 1/2 of 1/4? And that is clearly an 1/8.
By thinking of times as the word of, it helps give you a visual understanding as to what is going on. So if I said to you, what is 1/2 of 1/4, you would know that 1/2 of 1/4 is an 1/8.
So if we use this fraction wall as a visual example, we can see that we have the quarter here. So 1/2 of 1/4 is equal to 1/8.
So our next example is 1 divided by 1/4. So first of all, we need to make this number into a fraction as well. That's the same as 1 over 1 divided by 1/4. So next, all I'm going to do is flip our second fraction and then times them together. Our actual sum is going to be 1 over 1 times 4 over 1. So we're going to times the numerators together and times the denominators together. So we'll end up with 4 over 1, which is equal to 4. Again, just like the multiplication, this could be a little bit confusing because our answer is now bigger than what we started off with. But if I were to ask you how many quarters go into 1, it'd be quite clear that the answer is 4.
When dividing, it's important to think how many times does one number go into the other. As soon as you go back to the basics, dividing fractions is much simpler to understand. So you're thinking, how many times does the second number of the equation go into the first number? Easy peasy.
So using the fraction wall as a visual example, we can see that we have the whole one here, and 1/4 goes into a whole one 4 times.
So this is our final example. So again, we're looking at 4/5 divided by 2/6. So our first step is to flip this second fraction. So we're going to end with 4/5 times by 6 over 2. Yeah. So, just like the other times, we're going to times both of the numerators together and both of the denominators together. So I know that 4 times 6 is 24, and that 5 times 2 is 10. So, this has now left us with an improper fraction. So we're going to go back to converting these into mixed fractions. So let's think about it. How many times does 10 go into 24? And I know that it goes in twice with 4 left over. So here we have our mixed number fraction. So we need to remember that all of our answers should be shown in the simplest form. So from here, we need to simplify it. So, looking for common factors again, I know that both of these numbers are divisible by 2, and that leaves me with 2 and 2/5 as my final answer.